and welcome to Cooking It Real. I'm Kathy, and I'm so glad you're with me in the kitchen. Today, I'm gonna go back into the Wayback Machine. Do you remember the Wayback Machine? Sherman, Peabody? Probably not. Man, that was a long time ago. Anyway, I have got a recipe from 2002 that I printed out in 2007. Okay, this was from Bon Appetit magazine. And I have been holding on to this recipe since 2007, and I haven't made it. I was cleaning out my cabinet over there, and I have a stack. I mean, like, I had a huge stack of printed out recipes that I've been collecting over the years. And the top part of the pile is pretty well in rotation. That's where we store all our recipes that we printed off the internet. But then when you go deeper, there's ones that I printed out years ago, but just never got to. And this is one of them. It's Poblano corn chowder with shrimp. Okay, let's talk about chowder. It's October now, early October. A lot of people on YouTube are doing a challenge called Souptober, where they're making soups. All their videos in October are going to be about soups. Well, if you live in the Northern Hemisphere, October is a great time for soups. The weather is changing. Some places it's totally already changed. Here in East Tennessee, even though we've had some crazy stuff lately, our temperatures are still in the mid to upper 80s at the heat of the day. So it's not quite soup time or sweater weather, but we're getting there. And I want you to be prepared for when that first chilly day hits. Anyway, the reason that I picked this recipe when I saw it in my pile was that it used poblano chilies. Now, I have been growing poblano chilies for the very first time in our garden this year. And although they have done okay, they got off to a real slow start. So we're just now getting our poblanos. And let me show you. Here's a couple that I harvested yesterday. Look at that. Isn't that adorable? It's not the size that you find in the grocery store, but that's as good as they're going to get this year, I'm pretty sure. So I love corn chowder anyway, and it's something I grew up with in New England. But I figure pairing it with poblanos, give it that nice little southwestern kick, and shrimp. I mean, that would be so perfect. I can't wait to share this with you. The first thing we're going to do, though, is we got to get a couple of things ready before we actually start cooking. So let's start right there. And in this recipe, we're going to do corn two ways. We need two different types of corn. We need 2 cans of cream style corn, and then we need 1 bag of frozen corn kernels. This is a 10-ounce bag. You could use canned corn, just not cream corn, but canned corn whole kernels if you wanted to. But I have this bag here, and what I'm going to do is I took it out of my freezer, and I'm just gonna need to thaw it. So this is thinking ahead a little bit. So I'm just gonna pour it into my handy dandy Tupperware strainer. I'm gonna run some water over it and just let it sit. Whoop! Cooking it real already. Spilling everything. Did you see that Tupperware has gone out of business or is going out of business? Man, I still have Tupperware that I got when my mother was doing Tupperware parties, and that was like, I was like, I don't know, 12 years old. So that was like 100 years ago. Anyway, I'm just gonna put this, run this under some cool water and let it sit in the sink and thaw a little bit. And then I will show you what next we have to prepare. Okay, the next thing we want to do is we want to get 2 tablespoons of butter, and we want it to be softened to room temperature. We're going to make a beurre manie with this, so we need it to be room temperature. So while we're doing our next step, let's just take 2 tablespoons, put it in a little bowl, and set it off to the side to warm up a little bit. Okay, next and very important is our shrimp. Okay, now I have 1 pound of shrimp here, and I believe these are like 15-count shrimp. They're a good size. You might call them jumbo shrimp. We buy them frozen at a local grocery store. They come like in a 5-pound bag, and it's pretty reasonably priced. And these are already deveined, which means they've been cut down the back like this, but they still need to be peeled. Now, I had them sitting in a bowl of cool water so they would defrost a little bit, and now they're pretty good, and they're defrosted enough for me to peel and get ready. So it's a very simple process, especially when they start it for you. You just have to peel that skin off. Now we want to take the tail part off as well, and just put that off to the side. And there's your shrimp. Okay, now you can use a smaller size shrimp if you're so inclined, and that would work too. There'd be more actual shrimps, but you just need 1 pound, whatever works out to 1 pound. These are raw shrimp, by the way. If you wanted to use fresh shrimp, you absolutely could, but then you would have to devein it yourself. In another video, I'm going to show you how to prepare fresh shrimp. When Will and I first met, we were both living on the coast of southeastern North Carolina, and we were spoiled for shrimp, let me tell you. I mean, we could watch the shrimp trawlers just off the beach on the daily, basically, dragging their nets to catch shrimp. So we could get shrimp that was flippin' fresh, as we used to say. And that was quite a pleasure. But now that we're living in a landlocked part of the country, we buy it frozen in the grocery store, unless we take a trip. You know, when we take our trips back to the beach or down to New Orleans or the coastal Texas, we always bring a big cooler and stock up and bring that back with us. All right, I'm going to speed this up for you. It's really simple. All right, that was pretty easy. Now, even though these are deveined, you do want to make sure that you look at each and every one as you're peeling them. And if you see some vein like this right here, it's really simple. Just take a knife and just scrape it out. Boom, done. So we had a couple of them that still had a little bit of vein left. Yeah, out you go. And now these shells here, you could use these to make a shrimp stock if you'd like, or you can just you can make a shrimp stock today. You can put them in your freezer and make a shrimp stock another day, or you can just dispose of them. Now, if you're going to dispose of them and your trash day is on Friday and today is Monday, you might want to wrap them up really well and maybe even stick them in the freezer until it's trash day, because they can get a little bit stinky, especially if they're in your trash can that's out in the heat. But our trash comes tomorrow morning, so the trash can goes out tonight. So I'm just going to dispose of these real easy. Okay, now we want to get these shrimp a little bit further prepared by cutting them into the size we want them to be in our chowder. Okay, so my rule of thumb with any kind of soup or stew or whatever chowder is I want the pieces parts to comfortably fit on a spoon, okay, a soup spoon, when I'm eating it. So if I have like a good sized shrimp like this, I'm gonna cut it into like I'm gonna be generous and cut that into 3 pieces. And these will get just a little bit smaller as they cook, but they'll still be good sized. So, and I'm just gonna put them back in the bowl that they just came out of. So this guy's gonna get a 2. This guy is gonna get into 2. And you can make it smaller or bigger, however you want. I like to do various sizes. So sometimes you get a big bite, sometimes you get a smaller bite, but there's plenty of shrimp to go around. And so this is a part that you want to get done ahead too. And it's almost like doing stir fry. You know, if you get all your stuff ready in advance, it goes together real quick. And this is something that you can do. You can thaw your corn ahead. You can do your shrimp ahead. I mean, you could do it a day ahead. You could do it 2 days ahead. If you have smaller shrimp, you can just leave them whole. You know, like those little cocktail shrimp, I think they call them. Now, these shrimp are going to cook in the chowder. That's another little piece of vein. Almost missed that. They are going to cook in the chowder, so you know you don't that you want it to lend the flavor as it cooks to your chowder. So that's why you're using raw shrimp. Now, if you really don't want to handle raw shrimp, and you really like shrimp, but you just don't want to mess with it, you could buy the cooked shrimp. All right, and just they have the cooked frozen shrimp exactly the same as this raw shrimp right next to it in the little seafood case at our grocery store, and you can just use that if you really, really want to. Now, you're not going to get quite as much shrimp flavor in your chowder, but that might be okay. I mean, it's going to be plenty flavorful. All right, so now that I've got this all cut up, I'm going to wash this board because my vegetable board is underneath. We're going to work on that. Put this back in the fridge and just let it hang out until it's time to cook. Okay? Okay. Let's see how the butter for our beurre meni is going. Is it soft enough yet? No. It's getting there. It's getting there. I'm gonna get it ready anyway. Okay, 2 tablespoons of butter. You need 2 tablespoons of flour. This is going to be our thickener. Okay, it's like a roux, except you put it in cold. So we're not, you know, melting the butter and stirring flour into it over heat. So I'm just going to get this started, and you can do this with your fingers too. All right. I'm going to put this aside. I'm going to come back to it as it gets just slightly more softened. Okay, now on to our vegetables. And what we're going to need is we're going to need some celery. I got 3 stalks here. We're going to need an onion. The recipe calls for a medium onion. This one's large. We have larger. This is one of our smallest onions, so we love onion. I'm going to go for it. Like I said, poblano peppers. Recipe calls for 2 large. Don't have 2 large, but I got 4 kind of okay ones. And if you don't want to use poblano peppers, if you don't want it to be spicy, all right, let me start again about the poblanos. Jalapenos are very spicy, okay? They're going to give you heat every single time. Poblanos, they're less spicy than jalapenos. In fact, they're different, okay? But they do have a bit of a kick to them, you know? And if you don't want that, you could always use something like a banana pepper or any other kind of pepper. Like I would maybe use like a red pepper or a yellow or an orange bell pepper. I don't think I'd use green because that kind of grassy, slightly, I don't know how to describe it, flavor that a green bell pepper has. That's not the flavor that you're looking for in this soup. But really, honestly, you could leave the peppers out totally. You could leave the shrimp out totally. You could just make this a gorgeous corn chowder and nobody would be the wiser. They'd still love it. Now, the recipe wants these vegetables to be finely chopped in a food processor, the celery and the onions. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this off. If you have a scrap bag, this is perfect for a scrap bag. If you have a worm bin or a compost pile, it's perfect for that as well. I'm just going to roughly chop these because they're going right into the food processor. And like I said, I'm going to use this whole onion because why not? We love onion. And get this all taken care of. And I think I'm going to add maybe 2 of the poblano peppers into the food processor, and the other 2 I'm just going to chop because it just says to chop the poblano peppers. So I don't want tons and tons of poblano floating around, but I do want some. I do want you to know that this is a poblano shrimp corn chowder. All right, just peel you. Peel you. Ding dong. Whoop, that's my doorbell. Be right back. I'm back. That was my next door neighbor boy. The kids are on fall break this week, and he's on the middle school soccer team, and he accidentally kicked his practice soccer ball over the fence. So I had to go and throw it back over the fence for him. It used to be something that would happen several times a day when he was a little bit younger, but his skills are so improved that now it's a very rare occurrence. And gosh, he's getting so tall too. Anyway, he's a good kid. All right, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I'm gonna put a couple of these into the food processor too. So what we want to do is just gonna cut them like this and take out the core and the seeds. There we go. Whee. You can get that little cap part too if you want. And let's see. There we go, that worked out. We were hoping that these poblanos would be like, I don't know, 3 times this size, because we're gonna stuff them with cheese and make chili relleno. But we'll probably have to make mini chili relleno. All right, I'm gonna whiz these up, then I'm just gonna chop up the other ones. Pulse. Excellent. All right. This way, with the vegetables all nice and chopped up finely, they'll just kind of melt right into the chowder. And that'll be a beautiful thing. So Duchess was outside sleeping on the patio in the sun. And when she heard neighbor boy, she had to come in, get a little drink, a little snack. Now she wants to go back out. The life of a cat, huh? Yeah, it's a tough life, Duchess. But you are so worth it. Do y'all have cats? Tell me about them. Tell me about your kitties. Let's see your kitty cats. Okay, boom. Now I'm gonna just do this in little dice. So it's not ground up, but it's gonna be chopped up pretty fine. Let's see if this is how I want it. Oh. Yeah, that's gonna be fine. Okay, now we're over to the stove. It's showtime. I have got 2 tablespoons of butter that I am melting in my pot here. Let's see if I can get this. Can you see that good enough? How's that? Maybe that's better? All right, let's see. All right, now I'm bringing over my chopped up veggies, the onion, the celery, and the couple of little poblano chilies. It smells so good already. I'm just gonna pop them right in here. I don't know if you can see, there's a bunch of juice in here. Okay, I'm just gonna put that in. That's not gonna be a problem. That's just gonna be more flavor. More flavor. Okay. Come on out. Let's get it all gone. You know, I found a couple of other recipes in my pile when I was cleaning out my cabinet. So who knows? Might have a whole new round of things. Give that a stir. Now I have this on medium-high. I'm just going to saute this for a little bit until it gets soft. All right, this is going to take about, I don't know, 5 or 6 minutes or so. Now, the recipe does not say anything about salt until the end, seasoned with salt and pepper, which I find just a little bit unusual. So what I'm going to do, though, is I'm just going to take like a nice pinch of salt and add that now. You do you. And it also says to add a half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. It's totally your call. I'm just gonna eyeball it. Ooh, that's probably enough. Those poblanos, they got a little kick to them, like I said. So it's gonna go with that. Oh, that smells heavenly. Okay, you can see that the juice from the food processor is pretty much gone. So now we're gonna add our bag of thawed out corn kernels, and we're gonna add our 2 cans of cream style corn. This is a 14 3/4 ounce can. So, okay, I'm gonna put that right here. 1 and 2. Now, if you just wanted to make corn chowder without the poblanos and the shrimp, you would chop up all your onions and celery, just like I just did, and saute them in butter. And then you would add corn kernels and your cream corn. And then you would add the next ingredients, which is going to be 1 quart of chicken stock. Come on out here. Come on, darling. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I am going to use this, if I can manage, to rinse out the cans of corn. Yeah. All right. So, just like you do when you're rinsing out spaghetti sauce. There we go. And then we're going to add all of this. Now, you can use homemade chicken stock. That's what I'm using. There we go. Or you can use it from a box. Just 1 box is 1 quart. Or you can get chicken stock in a can about this size, in which case get 2. Or you can just use like a quart of water with some bouillon, or even make it veggie stock. You don't have to have chicken stock at all. All right, we need to add 2 teaspoons of sugar to this. That's about 1. That's about 2. A little bit extra. And we're going to bring this up to a boil. So I'm going to turn this heat up just a tiny bit. And we're going to get this boiling. All right, I forgot one thing. We need to add 1 cup of heavy whipping cream. So I got my half cup measure. So I'm going to go 1 and 2. Now we're going to bring it up to a boil. There we go. Now, if you wanted, you could omit that if you wanted to keep it dairy-free, or you could use a non-dairy milk, coconut milk, almond milk, just an unsweetened milk, or you could use half and half, or you could use milk. But we're going to do it like the recipe said, as far as that goes. And now let's bring it up to a boil. Okay, that is boiling nicely. All right, so I'm going to turn down the heat now to medium low, and I'm going to take my Burmani and I'm going to whisk it in. So I'm going to drop this in like that and get my whisk. Just whisk that in. We're going to leave it on medium low. Keep it at a nice simmer. I might have to turn it down a little bit more. And let's see, do I have any Burmani left? A little bit. Let's get it all in there. Get it in. There we go. All right. Now we're going to simmer this for about 15 minutes until it gets beautifully thick. Lovely. Turn it down. This is a big burner, so I'm going to turn it down to like low. Yeah, that looks good. All right, set my timer. 15 minutes, and we'll be back to put in the shrimp. Okay, 15 minutes. Now, I want to make a point of telling you that you don't want to get too far away from this pot while it's simmering. You do want to stir it, every 5 or 6 minutes or so. Stir it a couple of times just to make sure that nothing is sticking to the bottom of the pan. All right, now we are going to, I still have it on low, and we're going to add our shrimp. We're just going to slide it all in there. Everybody into the pool. And this only has to cook for like 5 minutes. And the shrimp will turn pink and lovely. And then we'll be ready to taste. Pretty shrimp's already starting to turn. All right, set my timer, 5 minutes. There we go. Ready to taste. Let's get some of this dished up. See how beautiful and pink the shrimp is? Oh, delicious. Now, if you had some chopped cilantro, you could garnish with that. That would be lovely. Oh, this smells so good. Can't wait to try it. All right. All right, I got my fabulous taster. We're ready. Smells good, doesn't it?
Smells fabulous.
Can't wait to try it. See how hot it is. Is it really hot?
Right on the edge of being really hot.
Mm.
Which might be
Oh, that's good.
perfect. And so the poblano is vaginal and hot. And
you think it's really hot, like hot, spicy hot?
No.
Good, because I don't think so either. I think it's just got a little bit of a zip to it.
Fabulous addition. It's like a tooth fill that you really, really like.
Oh, good. I'm glad you like it. I love it. And I think you will too. And I hope you make it. And if you do, let me know. Okay? We're going to eat this. This would go great with like some dinner rolls or crackers or something like that. Some garlic bread. Who knows? Anyway, thanks for joining me. And we look forward to seeing you again next time on Cooking It Real. Bye, everybody.
That's very good.
Thought you were going to give me a high five.